final day of Africa Tech Festival 2023, but still time to catch some of the movers and shakers who've been taking part of the festival. One of them is Miranda Perumal, who of course is CEO and founder of Scale. Good to have you with us.
Thank you so much.
You've been in charge of this stage behind us for the past few days. You must have seen and had and been involved in some fascinating conversations. What are some of your highlights of the week?
It has been incredible. It's been insightful. I learned quite a bit, but it's also been quite different because there were some controversial topics I thought was really great to have, because those are the kinds of discussions that we need to be talking about, right?
They're the ones that affect change, right?
Exactly. It's a reality check of the African continent as a whole. It brings context into people's lives, and it brings value into the solutions and innovation that various fintechs and MFS players are deploying in the market. So I thought it was really, really cool.
I'm fascinated to know what some of the controversial topics were.
Well, one was mine. So I moderated a panel around overcoming the challenge of credit access in Africa. And my guests had such unique perspectives around whether, one, Africa is ready for credit, two, how you lend responsibly, three, who is responsible for responsible lending, and that unraveled quite a few perspectives and experiences that I think we always need to look at holistically. And I think that it's also made more loudly or more boldly, or noticed rather, it's made the notion of looking at Africa as an ecosystem in isolation, as opposed to looking at Africa as an ecosystem play, right? So looking at the different segments and how it impacts each other, the different historic challenges in a country, the different cultures, diversity, banking, financial environments that they operate in, and how that links to each other, but also how you cannot look at each of those in isolation of one another. You can't.
With that in mind, do you think that an event like this helps to change perspectives?
100%. And I think that, well, firstly, just kudos to AfricaCom and Africa Tech Festival. I think just personally, from my lens, I come from a corporate. So I worked at Visa for 2 years. I'm a brand new founder, and the fest gave me a stage and a platform and visibility to speak my truth, right, which is to highlight the challenges and obstacles that African fintechs face, but also provide a view and an opinion of some of the challenges. And if not for these types of platforms, someone in the audience would not understand that from my perspective, and therefore there would be no collaboration, there'd be no connection, and there'd be no follow-through. So to answer your question, absolutely yes, it does drive change, it drives visibility, and most importantly, it drives conversation that leads to the collaboration that the continent requires.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned there that you are a relatively new founder. Tell us about Scale.
So Scale is the elephant in the room. We love being the elephant in the room. I'm always the elephant in the room. So that's our logo, by the way. And I think the idea behind it is that there are so many fintechs, there are so many non-traditional use cases across the market, right? But the ecosystem is not yet ready to foster the environment that they need to flourish. Earlier we had a panel around there's exponential investment coming to the continent, but a lack of fintech unicorns. Firstly, it's unrealistic to expect unicorn status from African startups in such a short period of time. But second, it's like we navigate complex regulatory environments, tough bank, infrastructure rules and policies, basic lack of infrastructure in a market. And what Scale aims to do is bridge these ecosystem players together under a single tech platform and support fintechs to their commercialization and speed to revenue, so that they're not only able to launch their products, they can launch it under a commercial, sustainable model with the right partners, but also build a sustainable business that allows them to take that and scale it across the continent, into the globe, and then at that point, maybe become a unicorn.
So when in a few years' time we see the number of unicorns on the continent having quadrupled.
Yeah. I'll be the first elephant.
You'll be there.
Yeah.
You'll be the one there. These are just some of the conversations that we've been having here. Don't worry if you missed them. You can always go to #Africa Tech Festival and catch up.